Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. In this video, we will have our discussion on a very interesting topic. Whenever we talk about that, is there a house in our astrological chart which has got this potential to create a story of rags to riches, which has this potential to completely turn around our life? So we all know that is the 8th house in our astrological chart. But just because with the 8th house, there are other attached, vulnerable and threatful things attached as well. So when it comes down to decoding the attributes of the 8th house, when it comes down to decoding the beneficial side of the 8th house, it becomes a nemesis for lot many people, because at the end of the day, this is also the house of surprises as well. But guys, we cannot overlook this fact, and there is one point over where all the astrologers will come to this mutual consensus that this house has got lot of wealth potential as well, which can be attained in a very sudden, in a very short span of time. So in this video, we will have our discussion around the same area only, that when we talk about the wealth potential of the 8th house, what all can we do? Like what could be I have written the steps over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 tips which I want to give to those who have a prominent 8th house, that how can they actually secure their chances to have good wealth which can be extracted from the 8th house. And for all those guys who are still confused that why 8th house is connected with sudden stupendous wealth. So let me give you a logic. See, there is one point over where we all would agree that the wealth houses in our astrological chart are 2nd house, which is the house of financial inflow, 11th house, which is the house of our supplementary income, wish fulfillment, all sort of gains, 10th house, which is the actual house of our career, and in some way 5th house, which is also the house of speculative gains. Now I will try to explain you, and I will try to establish a connection of the 8th house with all these houses which I just mentioned. Now guys, to begin with, if 11th house tells about your wishes, so from the 11th house, for you to reach the 8th house, you have to go 10 places ahead of it. So in a way, what sort of karam, what sort of efforts you will do in order to fulfill your desires, for that you have to see the state of the 8th house. From the 10th house, which is the house of your public image, which is the house of your actions. So from the 10th house, for you to reach the 8th house, that means it is 8th house's 11th house from the 10th house. It is the actual gains of all of your actions. Now, when we talk about from the 2nd house, so we all know this thing that in any of the 1-7 axis, it actually acts like a partner in crime of that house. So that means a 2nd house without well supported 8th house is like incomplete. And also guys, when we talk about the 5th house, which also tells about your speculative gains, so from the 5th house, if you have to go to the 8th house, so that means in a way you have to go 4 places ahead of it. So whatsoever speculative gain you're going to have, how much of the happiness, comfort it will give you. But friends, if I were to say the competitive edge which this 8th house possesses is, not only it has got this potential of giving you wealth in a short span of time, which we have been talking so far, the beauty of the 8th house is that it holds this capacity to retain or maintain that status. So whatsoever 8th house gives you, people have this capacity to maintain that or retain that status. So let's say for example, with the diligent hard work, destiny made you rich. So whatsoever wealth now you have this capacity to have the bhog, to have the to enjoy those fruits or that status of wealth for a long span of time, or to maintain or retain that status. But again guys, everything comes down to with which capacity and dignity your 8th house is. If let's say for example, if 8th house is afflicted, then definitely it can actually turn around the things in a short span of time as well. So guys, after understanding little bit about the wealth potential of the 8th house, over where this whole discussion is concentrated, now I want to give you guys the 7 tips on which, if you have a prominent 8th house, if you will keep in mind all these 8 factors, definitely it can ensure your chances to be wealthy in this lifetime. Now guys, the point number 1 is that for someone to extract the good results from the 8th house, depth and insight is very important. See guys, 8th house is actually the house of the psychology. 8th house is actually the house of deep, intricate, complex details which are not visible or which cannot be comprehended by everyone in the world. And that is the only reason. You have to be unique, you have to be insightful, you have to be investigative and researchful for those gifts to work for you to be able to foresee things which others cannot see. So in whichever field you are operating, like the way the example which I gave it to you, that 8th house is the 11th from the 10th house. So that means in your professional endeavors, in order for putting efforts towards your wishes, you have to be very insightful and there has to be a lot of depth and research in whatsoever you are doing in your daily life. So that was the tip number 1. Tip number 2 is never hesitate to ask for Patreon's support, to an extent even to buy a lottery ticket as well. Now why I'm saying this thing? Because guys, in a way, 8th house is the money which has not been directly earned by us. We get supported. That is the only reason 8th house money or wealth is also the money of the joint resources, some sort of speculative gains, insurance, royalty, revenue, all of that we generally attached with the 8th house. Like someone in your family died and that person left that inheritance or will in your name, and that is the money which we generally associate with the 8th house. So the point which I'm saying over here is that if you have a prominent 8th house, like your 10th lord is in the 8th house, your 11th lord is in the 8th house, in whichever dynamics it is, never hesitate to put it out. Now definitely if you are doing something with good intent and regarding that you want to be supported for that cause by the other people. Now definitely guys, I'm not that financially savvy that I know about crowdfunding and other different means or medium. Had I known this thing, I would have made my channel grow through support of the sponsors and funding and investments and all. But the point which I'm saying over here is that I'm very much sure if I'm not that, but my audience, you are watching it, you are very intelligent, you are very financially savvy. So if in any capacity your 8th house is strengthened, never hesitate to ask for those donations, support for the causes or the things which you want to do. A lot many times it has been seen. People with a prominent 8th house, in their case, when they put their own money, they face losses. But when they put the money of other people for their business aspiration, they meet success. Now, the tip number 3 is for you to extract good results from the 8th house, be as ritualistic as possible. Now guys, all those things which looks very unusual, very esoteric, like someone is wearing too many gemstones, someone is doing too many of the malas or mantras or chanting, or someone is, basis my religion, this could be getting a Rudrabhishek puja done, or taking that pledge or vow that after getting every contract, I need to go and visit this temple, I need to make donations like this. So be very firm in terms of the rituals, because this is what the beauty of the 8th house is, that rituals, all these kind of, talisman, all these kind of blessing and mantra and rituals work out very beautifully. They work as a invisible divine protection around you. After that guys, when we talk about the tip number 4 is always be disciplined. Guys, this is where the line between those businesses, those people who survive and those who vanish comes, because somehow it is connected with the 8th house. The integrity which you follow for your wish fulfillment and the level of gains you will have for your actions and for your professional endeavors somehow comes down to the 8th house only. Like the way we say that how long and big a tree grows, somehow it is dependent on how strong its foundation is, its roots are. And this is what the 8th house is about. So what I'm trying to say over here is that always be disciplined, always be ethical. And like this could be a case that I wanted to say, because 8th house also tells about taxes and all. So always pay your taxes. After that, the tip number 1, 2, 3, 4, which is 5. Now the tip number 5 is always have far-sighted vision. Like the way guys, I said this thing, that the beauty of the 8th house is that it has the capacity to sustain you maintain you, feed you for a longer span of time. Whatever you will attain, the 8th house has got capacity to maintain that status. Like rather, I would say that the beauty of the 8th house is to such an extent that even after when you will die, when you will be gone, your name will remember. Your name and your achievements, your accomplishments, your contribution will reverberate in this world. So because of which, all those people who are working with the prominence of the 8th house, be consistent, diligent with your hard work, and always have a far-sighted vision for all of your actions. Trust me, I know astrology. It's not like that. If the place where I want to reach, if I'm not there, that does not bother me. What matters most for me is that every day how much efforts I'm putting. So that becomes very important. Now guys, after that, it's the tip number 6, which is always stay secretive. Guys, 8th house in a way is the house of secrets. All those things which happens underground. So that means, and I recently watched this video of 15 things to do when you win a big sum of money, when you win a lottery, which my secretary, my editor over here, I shared with her as well, that because she used to say all the time, if I will be rich, if I'll get some lottery win, I'm gonna share my fortune with other people. I was like, please watch this video. So this is what I want to say. Majority of the lottery win happens only because of a strong 8th house. Even the person who I was referring to, she also has got very strong 8th house. She has got Mars exalted over there. So the point which I'm saying here is that if you have a strong 8th house, or if you want to extract the wealth from the 8th house, your major plans, operations, execution has to be secretive. And guys, it now brings me to the last point which I want to give as a tip, which is, see, 8th house in a way also tells about the partnership. It also talks about marriage. And I guess that is the only reason in the older times, majorly 8th house was seen from the perspective of the money which we receive as a dowry in marriages, which used to be a practice in traditional India and all. So the point which I'm saying over here is that if you actually want to get the best of the 8th house, so get married wisely. So yes guys, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on my Instagram account. Dhanyawad.